Any survival game is better with a safe base to come home to, and Haven and Hearth is no different, so today I'm going to go over the beginnings of base building for new players in Haven. For this video, I'm going to assume that you already have a personal claim built. If that's not the case, please check out my personal claim tutorial video before following this one. I'll put a link in the description. The most important element of any secure base in Haven is a palisade, a spiked wooden wall which will prevent other players from entering the perimeter of your base without committing a huge amount of time and resources to a siege. Once you've got your peak claim built and its protections have activated, your first step toward building your palisade is to dry some animal hides. Acquire at least 10 animal hides by hunting small animals like squirrels and rabbits. Make sure to keep their bones too, as you'll need 20 bones for a later step. Build some drying frames from tree boughs, sticks, and string. You'll need at least 3 drying frames to follow along with this video, but I recommend you build as many as you can fill. Make sure to build them on top of your peak claim. To fill a drying frame with raw hides, interact with it and place the hides in its inventory. Most hides will dry after about 15 hours real time, so make sure not to move them until they're fully dried or you'll have to restart this timer. Also, be aware that squirrel tails are not appropriate for this step, as although they can be dried, they cannot be turned into leather. Next, buy the tanning skill and build at least 3 tanning tubs. Fill your tanning tubs with water. You may want to build a barrel at the water's edge and teleport home while lifting it overhead to bring it with you. Then, harvest some tree bark and use it on the tanning tubs to turn the water into tanning fluid. Each tanning tub will need several pieces of bark. You'll have to wait roughly 30 hours in real time for your dried hides to turn into leather. Set aside 10 pieces of leather to build your palisade. For the next step, acquire 20 bones if you haven't already by hunting small animals. Then, make sure you have the firecrafts and pottery skills, and gather clay by using the dig action in shallow water, then use it to build a clay cauldron. From here, chop some wooden blocks and add them to the cauldron as fuel by picking them up and right-clicking them onto the cauldron. Then, acquire 2 sticks and open your adventure menu to access the fire section and select Light a Fire. To light a fire in Haven, you have to craft an item called a firebrand by rubbing sticks together. Crafting a firebrand is fairly stamina intensive, so make sure to fill up on stamina beforehand by drinking water. Crafting the firebrand will take a few moments, and once it's ready, the item will be placed onto your cursor, and you'll have to right-click a fueled fire pit or cauldron to attempt to start the fire with it. This process takes a second or two, and your firebrand may burn out during the process, at which point it will disappear. This is random, so if you get bad luck, just try again by crafting a new firebrand. Now that you've lit the fire under your cauldron, wait 5 minutes real time and the water will start to boil. Right-click your boiling cauldron and select Use, then find the crafting recipe for bone glue in your crafting menu. You'll need 2 pieces of bone glue to build your palisade. The last special material you'll need for your pally is rope. Make sure you have the rope twining skill, then gather 20 pieces of string, 8 blocks of wood, and 10 boards to build a rope walk. From here, you'll need a total of 50 pieces of string. That's 10 string per rope. Finally, you're ready to build your first palisade. Let me give you some general building tips. Make sure the area of your palisade is covered completely by your personal claim, and in fact make sure to extend it at least 4 tiles outward from your palisade. Also, don't include any potential entry points inside your walls unless you know what you're doing. This includes cave entrances, even if they look like they're dead ends on the other side. You may be unable to build your pally on top of certain biomes. In this case, you can use the landscaping section of your adventure menu to plow the land and then stomp it to dirt, since you can build on dirt. Gates can be built 2 or 3 tiles wide, depending on where you place your corner posts. Always build your gates so that they open outward, and always use visitor gates instead of regular gates unless you know exactly what you're doing. Avoid sealing your corner posts. This will allow you to easily expand your palisade in the future. The size of the palisade I'm building in the video should be a good start for a first-time solo player, but you might want more room later on. Also, make sure you don't get caught trying to build your pally too close to water, since there is a limit to how close you can get. Once you have your full palisade built, it's time to lock up so that no unwanted players can enter your base. Before you start this process, I'll remind you that your hearth fire should be inside your gates. Also be aware that, although there is a lockpicking skill, palisade gates can never be lockpicked, so the only way for someone else to get into your base without a siege once you have a pally is through security flaws. Be sure to follow instructions carefully to avoid such a situation. Make sure you have the locks and bolts skill, and craft a wooden lock. Then pick up the lock and right-click on a gate to install it. You'll be given a master key in the process, which can unlock any gate with the same lock from either side. To lock another gate, craft another wooden lock, pick up the master key, and right-click on the lock. This will make the new lock match the existing one, so you can use the same key to open all of your gates. Once you're done locking up, craft a slave key copy of your master key with a block of wood. The slave key will allow the holder to exit your base but not enter. This prevents unwanted players from entering your base if the key is stolen. You'll have to return home by teleporting to your hearth fire. Be aware that your master key getting stolen is basically the worst thing that can happen to you, so please spawn in a new character to hold the master key who will never leave your base. This is the only true way to keep this key safe. Also be aware that your Palisade won't have its full defensive potential until about 24 hours after it's built. But once that time passes, congrats! You're now a happy homeowner and can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that what's inside your walls is now protected from the common thief. If you have any questions I haven't answered in this video, feel free to ask in the comments below, and have fun!